What's happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So in this video, we're going to be ranking the live-action Disney Plus Star Wars shows. So with the recent release of Andor season finale, decided to go ahead and do a video ranking all of the Disney Plus live-action Star Wars shows. So we have a total of four live action shows. We got we got Andor, of course, which came out recently. We got Book of Boba Fett. We also got The Mandalorian, and we got the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So I'm going to be ranking all four shows from the bottom to the top, and let's go ahead and get into this video. So starting in at the bottom for me is going to be the Book of Boba Fett. Now, a lot of people have talked about this series and pretty much dubbed it the Mandalorian Season 2.5. And rightfully so, it definitely almost feels like it was. Like, there was like two, three, I don't know how many episodes, literally half the season was almost dedicated to the Mandalorian and Grogu showing up and all that. We had those episodes in there, and it literally was almost like a 2.5 season of the Mandalorian. One of the things I feared whenever this series was announced, and whenever the series was announced, and we were getting the series, was Boba Fett is a character that thrives on the mystery of himself. There's a mystery behind Boba Fett which makes him intriguing, and I felt with this series, like the announcement of the series before actually watching it, I felt like we might lose that mystery. We might lose that intrigue of Boba Fett, which makes him so popular and stuff like that. And with this series, I think we did kind of lose it a little bit. I just like, I'm not gonna say it's bad or anything like that, that I hate it or anything like that, because I think it did a lot of good stuff in the series. But the thing with Boba Fett, the character of Boba Fett himself in this series, he doesn't feel, he feels almost like it's not a series about him. It feels like he's secondary almost, and it feels like we did kind of lose that mystery. It feels like we did lose that kind of intrigue about him, and it just didn't feel like Boba Fett that much. It's sad to say that it didn't feel as much as Boba Fett, and I'm not going to say I hate this series. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I was still excited for the new episode each time. Whenever we get a new episode, I was still kind of excited to watch it and see what's going to go on and stuff like that. But I felt like this series, just took that characteristic about Boba Fett away a little bit. Now, it's not like it made me dislike the character or anything like that. I still love the character of Boba Fett. I really do. And I think Tamura Morrison still puts on a good performance as Boba Fett. It's just the things in the series, it kind of takes away from the character of Boba Fett a little bit for me. So that's some of the reasons why I gotta put it at the bottom for now. Now this next series, I don't know. This not. Let me say this first off. This ranking could change in the future. It really could. It could change in the future. It just depends how. This is just as of right now. As of right now, how I feel about this series overall. As of right now. Now with these next two spots, it's a possibility they could flip flop. Like, I'm still debating if I should flip flop them. They're kind of, the thing is, they're definitely almost tied for me. There's one at the number two spot, the series at the number two spot. There's one thing that gives it its slight edge about it, and this number three spot could maybe be number two spot. So this is definitely a tough decision. It was a tough decision between the number two spot and the number three spot. And I know people are going to dislike this, but it's just, I gotta be honest. Coming in at the number three spot for me is going to be Andor. It really is. And like I said, if y'all watch my review where I actually went through and told you why certain things didn't work for me in this series, y'all understand why I put it at number three. But like I said, time will tell. It could move up to number two, but number two right now has a slight edge, has one slight edge above it. It does. And I'll get into that in a second. But like I said with Andor, it took me a while to get into like actually liking the series and actually getting kind of interested in the series. Like, literally took me 5 episodes just to start kind of liking it or start getting a little interested in it. 5 episodes, that's a long time to get into a series. Like, especially how long the episodes are. That's a long time to start getting into this series and stuff like that. It's almost half a season, half the season. The season is 12 episodes. I didn't start getting to it until episode 5. Like, that's almost half the season right there, you know. But like I said, it had a lot of good things going for it. It did. Just a couple things that didn't work for me was the politics and kind of the things around that, centered around that. That kind of drew me off of it. I didn't really like the first couple episodes. It didn't draw me in with the first couple episodes. Um, After episode 5, it started picking up a little bit for me. I started kind of liking it a little bit more. I started kind of getting interested a little bit more. Like, I wouldn't say I was definitely excited for this series overall. When it was announced, I wasn't really. Like I said before, if y'all watched my review, and like I said before in previous videos or on my podcast and stuff, Rogue One was a little overrated for me. And then you're giving me this series about a character from Rogue One that I didn't really connect with in the movie at all. And then you're giving me a series about him. I wasn't excited for it. I really wasn't. But of course I watched it because it's Star Wars. And of course I watched it. It's Star Wars, so I watched it. And then like I said, it wasn't until after episode 5 that I started getting a little interested in it, that I started liking it a little bit more. It turned out a little good. It turned out, it's not bad. I'm not going to say it's a bad series. It's not a bad series. It isn't. It's a good series. It has some good writing and different things like that. A lot of people commend it for its writing and things like that and things it was able to do. But I started the series late. Like I said before, I started the series late, and hearing about it before I actually started watching the series, everybody was already claiming it to be the best Star Wars series ever. Now, that is some high stakes. That's some high praise. I get it. But you're talking about, and you're already talking that highly of the series already when it hasn't finished yet, and that throws me off. That really throws me off. So when I went in watching it, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to see the best Star Wars series ever. And that's not what I got from this series. It's definitely not what I got from this series. It's not a bad series, like I said. It's not a bad series or anything like that. I did start liking some of the things that was doing it. I would say definitely my favorite episodes were the prison episodes. I like the vibe of those episodes. I like the action and things going on in those episodes. Those were really good episodes. I really enjoyed those episodes. But there's other things about the series that I didn't get into. The politics side, the political side of the series. I couldn't get into that. I don't even like watching politics stuff in the first place. So, that's kind of things that threw me off about it. A lot of people talking about how good it is, and that's fine. You have your own opinion. If you enjoyed the series, good for you. That's good that you enjoyed it. For me personally, I gotta speak the honest truth. I couldn't get into it as much as I wanted to, or as much as I was hoping to. I couldn't. Uh, in the end, it turned out good, and I'm a little curious, a little interested. I'm not gonna say I'm excited for season 2. I'm not excited for season 2, but I'm a little interested in season 2 and seeing what happens and how they continue the story. You know, like I said, I'm not excited for season 2, but I'm a little interested in seeing what they do to continue the story. And I will watch season 2. I'll watch season 2, at least give it another chance. And I'm hoping I like it better than season 1. I'm hoping it turns out good for me. I'm hoping it. I don't want to bash on the show, like I said before in my review. I don't want to bash on the show, but I gotta speak the honest truth about how I feel about this show. You know. So like I said, hopefully season 2 is better. Hopefully it turns out better. Hopefully I like it. Hopefully it turns out more interesting and all that stuff. But as of right now, I'm not excited for season 2. I'm not. I'm really not excited for season 2. But I'm a little interested in it, and I will check it out at least. All right. So brings me to my number 2 spot. And like I said, the number 2 spot has a slight edge. I'm not gonna say it's an overall necessarily better show than Andor. Well, okay, maybe slight. It just depends. It's one of those things. It just depends. It's different factors that went into this. Like I said, it was definitely a tough spot between 2 and 3 on which one will overtop it. But like I gotta give a slight edge to the number 2 spot. Slight edge, like I said, a slight edge to the number 2 spot, and that slight edge is excitement. I know this series gets a lot of bad rap on it, but I was still excited for each episode coming out. Even though a lot of people bash on it and stuff like that, I was still excited for each episode. After I finished one episode, I was excited for the next episode to come out. I was finishing each episode. That was the same each week for this as long as the series was on. when each episode finished each week, I was still excited for the next episode, and that's why I say it gives a slight edge to it. So now at the number 2 spot is going to be the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Now I know this series gets a lot of bad rap. I know it does, but like I said, I got to give the slight edge to excitement, and that's where I was. I was excited when I heard about this announcement of this series coming out, Return of Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor coming back, Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader. I was excited. I was over the moon about it. I was so super excited about it, and I kept that excitement throughout the whole series, or the whole total 6 episodes that aired. I was still, as soon as one episode finished, I was still excited for the next episode. Each week, all those weeks, I was still excited for the next episode. I didn't get that with Andor, so that's why I got to give the slight edge to Obi-Wan Kenobi for now. Like I said, it's a tough break. It was definitely a tough decision with the number 2 and number 3 spot, but I got to, like I said, just because of slight edge for excitement, I got to give number 2 spot to Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And y'all should already know what number 1 is going to be. Number 1 is going to be The Mandalorian. Why is The Mandalorian number 1? Because I believe that is the best current show right now for Star Wars. I didn't know what to expect when first hearing about this series. I was like, "Oh, cool! We're going to get a story about a Mandalorian. That's cool. We'll see what happens with that show." I didn't know what to expect about that show, but once I started watching it with the first season, it was awesome. It was so good. It was so awesome. It was so good. It was definitely a resurgence for Star Wars. With all the movies coming out, a lot of people bashing on the movies and stuff like that, and then this series comes out. It was definitely a resurgence for Star Wars. Like, I was really enjoying Star Wars whenever The Mandalorian was out. And watching season 1, I was definitely excited for the next episode. I was interested in the next episode ever since episode, like, from the get-go, from episode 1, from the get-go. I liked it. I was excited for the next episode each week. I was interested in what's going to happen each week. It's the one show that kept me interested, that kept me excited each and every single week. It did not drop for me. By the time season 1 was done, I was so awesome. It was so awesome. It was an awesome show to watch. I couldn't wait for season 2. Season 2 came around. It was just as good, and it was so good, and I still kept excitement. I still kept me interested each week, each and every week that new episode came out. It still kept me excited and still kept me interested. I can't say that about all the other Star Wars series. I can't. There's all the other Star Wars series. I can't say everything good about what The Mandalorian did. I can't say it all about the other ones. I can't. Like I said, Mandalorian is probably my favorite Star Wars series, and it did such an awesome job of giving us this story of Din Djarin, and with Grogu too, and all that. It kept me excited each week. It kept me interested each week for all the episodes that it's had so far. It's had 2 seasons, and I'm overly excited for season 3. I can't not wait for season 3 to come out. So all those things together, that is why it's at number 1 for me. The Mandalorian is at number 1 for me as the best live action Star Wars so far. We're going to get some other live action series in the future. We'll see how they hold up against everything else. But as of right now, the number 1 spot for me is The Mandalorian. But that's going to do it for this video. Definitely let me know down in the comments below, how would you rank these Disney Plus live action Star Wars series? I'd definitely like to hear y'all thoughts on it. But that's going to do it for all for this video. Hope y'all all enjoyed it. Remember, if you want to be a part of Team Legendary, all you got to do is subscribe and turn notifications on so you know I post on our video. Hope you all have an awesome day. And remember, be legendary.